This is the O Review podcast. O Review.
Hello, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Mercenary. So every year I try to pick up a daily wear, something that's not too high-end so I'm not worried about ruining it, but something that's going to take a little bit of abuse, even though I treat things as nicely as I can. Sometimes sweat and things like that does take its toll. So I tend to stick with the ones that have the half frame, since those tend to just fit better on my face, and I like the way they feel a little bit better, especially with a lack of an under orbital. So before this, I wore the Sliver Edge. The year before that, I did the flak jacket. The year before that, half jacket, and then my first one was a splice, which was a full frame, but it was my first one, and I hadn't really found my groove yet. So taking a look at the Mercenary. Again, we're going back with that half lens design. And I just like the fact that it doesn't have any of the under orbitals. I just feel like it feels better on my face, like much better lower peripheral vision. And it's pretty much been my preference for a while. So unlike the Sliver Edge, which didn't have any unobtainium, and actually there was one other daily wear at the drop point, which also didn't have any unobtainium, it doesn't really get that hot up here, but it does get a little bit muggy and humid. So if I have anything with ear socks, it tends to get a little gummy, and it doesn't really hold up as well. So I was a little hesitant about making this my new daily wear, because it does have ear socks and nose pads, both of which, over the course of time can get a little funky after a while. But I'm sort of glad I did, because so unlike the smooth unobtainium, which does grip a little bit, but not all that well, so this one does have a ridged pattern, which actually follows the pattern that goes on the edge of the stem as well. So it's kind of a nice continuation and sort of a cohesive design for all the design elements that go into the stem. But it does really grip, because those extra ribbing effects really sort of feel nice in your head, and it feels like it's really going to be rock solid. So if you're using this for sports, in addition to just a daily wear, it's definitely going to stay on your face and not have any problem with it falling off. So another thing we've seen this year is this double bridge. And on this model, it's more of a design element, but it is borrowed from a few other models that we've seen released this year. Specifically the Cold Fuse. And on this one, it actually seems like it's more functional, or at least more consistent with the design, where you have the traditional wire frame here, but you have a lot of the extra accents on the top. And it almost looks like it's, I know it's not really functional, but it's more of, it almost looks like a suspension or something like that would be kind of tying it all together. So we've seen this one on. We also had the Crystal, which was sort of another one of the Iris models. And it's been spreading across all of the things. So a couple years ago, we did see it on this model here, but it's been more prevalent on the 2019 models as well. So we have things like the Latch Alpha, which again has that double bridge. And this is going to mirror things like the Crosshair, which had that natural double bridge design, just because it was two wireframes intersecting. But on things like the Mercenary and the Forager, it does seem like it's more just borrowing from those elements, specifically this one here, because at least this one sort of has the accents which mirror kind of the wire aspects. But this one here, they just sort of cut a hole in it. So I don't mind the look. A few people had issues with it, and it seemed like a deal breaker, but I haven't really had a problem with it. So if you want to remove the lenses, it's going to be the same thing. You just sort of pop it out from the nose piece here. You can buy replacement lenses online, so if you want to mix and match or just get a spare pair in case something happens, you can definitely do that. And otherwise, it's just been a nice solid pair. It is a little tight compared to the other models, which have a little bit more flex or just a little bit bigger altogether. It does feel like it squeezes a little bit more. So being such a straight stem here versus something like the Sliver, which kind of bows out a little bit, it definitely loses a little bit of the space on your temples. So it kind of, when you put it on, there's a bit of a squeeze. Not too bad, but it's something that you might want to just consider. Or it's something maybe you just want to try on before you invest in anything. So I definitely give it my recommendation. It's something I'm planning on wearing for the remainder of the year until we see what happens next summer. I did pick these up later in the summer, so this might actually get me a little bit more life out of it. So now that the weather's sort of cooling off and it's not as hot, definitely won't have as much issue with any sort of sweat getting to the unobtainium and things like that. So Just another quick review. Hopefully I'll have a couple more. I did pick up about 8 pair in the recent trip out to California, so I'll definitely be taking a look at the Forager, the Cold Fuse, the Latch Alpha, and then a couple other models that I picked up. Thank you.